Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your MC for Flink Forward and today's opening session, Senior Product Marketing Manager at Ververica, Karen Landers.
Well, this looks a little familiar. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flink Forward Barcelona 2025. I'm so excited to see the community here today, all gathered to be able to celebrate the future of data streaming, Apache Flink, and real-time AI. Now, before we get too far, I probably should mention I'm not hosting this entirely alone. I've got a pretty special co-host with me here today. And yes, it's partially AI. Are you all ready to hear what Vera has to say? Hey, Vera, are you here?
Of course I'm here. I'm everywhere. Hello, Flink Forward.
Everyone, meet our AI co-host, Vera. Don't worry, it's been trained mostly on good data.
I promise not to hallucinate too much, but I am here to keep things moving and celebrate the amazing Flink community.
So exactly, because as we all know, AI is all the buzz right now.
I am.
And we also know that real-time data and streaming is something that makes AI actually possible. That's why we're all here, to learn, to share, and to push the boundaries of what's next with Apache Flink.
Karen, that's very true. I might be mostly based on an LLM, but the future of AI certainly can't exist without real fast, fresh data feeding us. I think it's safe to say that this event wouldn't exist without two other things: our incredible community and the organizers behind it, Ververica. Flink has been driving streaming innovation from the very beginning, but it's all of you, the Flink humanity, who've taken this technology and made it the backbone of real-time data around the world.
Well, that's well said, Vera. And over the next 2 days, we're going to explore inspiring use cases, we're going to dive into deep technical sessions, and we're going to hear stories from people that are using Apache Flink to solve some really cool challenges. So let's dive right in. Are you all ready for some new ideas, some great conversations, and maybe a little bit of fun along the way? How about you, Vera? Are you ready?
I'm always ready. But Karen, one question. Why is my name Vera?
Oh, actually, that's a very good question. So Vera, you're named after a very special, very powerful piece of technology. It's the engine that powers Ververica's unified streaming data platform. And that tech is called Ververica Runtime Assembly, or Vera for short, your namesake. It's why we're able to power AI use cases with really fast, fresh, and timely data. But there's somebody that I think you probably want to meet. He's also a big Vera fan. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Ververica CEO, Alexander Walden. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Vera, wherever you might be.
Technically, I'm everywhere, Alex.
So Alex, our theme for this year is the future of AI is real time. Can you tell us what that means for you?
It started a bit of a joke, like AI being everywhere was my LinkedIn slogan a bit more than a year ago, because I got all of these posts, announcements, advertisements of stuff, all had AI in it. And well, the joke became reality a bit quicker than I've anticipated, to be honest. And now AI actually is everywhere. It's on your glasses, on your watch, on your phone, just everywhere, literally. But that is creating a problem, I find, and that's something people are not talking often enough about. Companies and organizations are actually looking for ways to train AI in real time or in right time.
And we know that Flink is the de facto gold standard streaming solution, and the consistent rise in popularity and growth proves just how critical and important the technology is.
Absolutely. I mean, last year we celebrated 10 years of Flink in Berlin. So today is the 11th year of Apache Flink. So well done, everyone who's participating. But the world of streaming looks a bit different today from when it first started. So here today we'll be talking about adaptations and innovations that Flink has gone through and will be going through in the future. I think that's one of the many reasons we're calling it Flink Forward, because we'll be looking forward, not backward.
And for one thing, everybody now expects instant results. In today's landscapes, real-time data isn't just a nice to have, it's becoming a competitive necessity.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of companies think that fast batch or some periodic refreshes of data are good enough. For some use cases, they may absolutely be, but in others, they're not. It's a bit like putting a monkey in front of a laptop, hitting F5, refreshing your Excel all the time, you know?
Fair enough. So Alex, maybe it's time to share 3 recommendations of how to keep up with all of these changes that have been happening. What do you say you and I play a game? I'm going to start with a statement, and then you're going to complete it. How does that sound? Let's take a look. All right, recommendation number 1. Many tools claim to be real-time,
yet rely on micro-batching or periodic polling. So it's like running a cron job every second. It appears fast, but it's not instantaneously, and it's not acting on an event. So what is important to consider is psychologically, speed is a subjective feeling. It's not something that is real, it's possibly distorted. And in reality, it's actually happening on things as they happen, and that's the only thing that matters.
Great. So that leads me to recommendation number 2. How would you complete batch versus stream?
I think modern solutions don't really have to compromise on that one. Should be possible to do both, and it only matters what the business needs or what the customers are demanding. Because in the end, it has to be on time, when it needs to happen. So it's about right time from a business perspective.
That makes sense. Okay, so recommendation number 3. Some vendors sell real-time as
a feature or speed metric. It's like us in Germany with our Autobahn, you know, we can go as fast as we want. No, we can't. But it reminds me of the days when, like Intel had these Pentium chips out there, when from 90 megahertz you went to 100 megahertz or whatever, and you had to pay an extra 100% premium on top of it. That's how it feels today, where it's just all squishy and not well defined. But in reality, it's a checkbox. Well, no, sorry, it's not a checkbox. That's what I wanted to say. It's all relative. It has to be at the right time for when you need it. So the thing really is, it's a choice and an architectural decision that determines whether a platform can be operating in the now.
Makes sense.
So that's the pace we really need. And that's one thing, as an example, we see everywhere. Customers want to stream music instantaneously. But when you order from one of those big e-commerce companies, they expect deliveries in hours. So again, time is already different. But when you're trading shares, because something is going up or going down, it has to be in milliseconds. So time is relative to what you do. But also ask yourself, how often are you returning to a website that doesn't work? If it's old, outdated, or whatever. It has to be the now. I think that's the only option the world is looking for.
So real-time isn't just a technology shift, it's a mindset. It's how organizations keep pace with the world and how they create the future.
That makes sense. And then the businesses that are going to end up thriving are the ones that can act in the moment, turning their events into insights and then their insights into action.
Absolutely, and at Ververica we are regarding ourselves as the architects of now, because we're actively building solutions and innovations that are defining today's world and the future of data pipelines, I'd say. One of the reasons today we'll be talking about things like Pymon and Fluss here at Flink Forward.
That makes sense. Okay, so what I'm hearing, Alex, is that with Ververica, you can have the right data, you can have it at the right time, and it doesn't matter when that time happens to be.
Correct.
And I think we actually have a video that we want to show about this.
Really?
Oh, let's go this way. Nice.
Hyper.
So what do you happen to think, Alex? Should we hear a little bit more about what Ververica has to share and how they help enterprises own their data and own their now?
I think we absolutely should. That's the reason we're going to call Vladimir on stage, aren't we?
Perfect. Okay, well, let's go ahead and give a big round of applause for Alex. And now, everyone, I'd like to go ahead and welcome to the stage Vladimir Jandreski, Ververica's Chief Product Officer. Welcome, Vlad. So nice to see you up here. Now, you've spent a lot of time developing this strategy that will give AI the real-time resources that it needs to be truly successful and truly transformative. So with that said, I'm going to turn the stage over to you.
Thank you, Karen. I'm excited to share our latest innovations. Thank you, everyone. I'm excited to share our latest innovations in the future of real time. Two forces are reshaping our world right now. The first is real-time data. Markets, supply chains, and digital interactions now move at the speed of events. Waiting hours or even minutes to act is no longer acceptable. The second one is artificial intelligence. AI is no longer a tool in the lab. It's everywhere. It's powering decisions, assisting customers, and reshaping industries. But here is the challenge. AI is only as good as the data it has. And most of today's AI data still depends on stale, batch-driven data. But the future demands something different. A world where AI runs on live data, where intelligence is powered by streams, not snapshots. And that's the story we are here to tell today. So let's start by looking at why this moment matters and why we believe that this convergence defines the next chapter of our industry. Today marks a new chapter in our industry. When we first introduced Apache Flink to the world, it set the standard for stream processing. Over the years, we worked with countless organizations, helping them harness data in motion. And now it's the time for the next leap. The Ververica Platform 3 is more than an upgrade. It's a reinvention on how businesses work with data and AI. It's about moving from complexity to simplicity, from fragmented tools to a unified platform, from delayed insights to intelligence that is live, instant, and always up to date. So this is the foundation of the next decade of data and AI. So you gotta ask yourself, why now? What's changed that makes real-time data and real-time AI not just an advantage, but essential? Batch has been the foundation of the data for decades, and still is. It's reliable, efficient, ideal for reporting, compliance, and large-scale historical analysis. But when it comes to AI and real-time decisions, batch alone can keep up. By the time a batch job finishes, the world may have already changed. So that's where streaming comes in, giving organizations the ability to respond as things happen. When every event counts, every insight must be immediate, and every interaction matters. And here is the real breakthrough. With a streaming-first, unified platform, we no longer have to choose. Both can exist in one unified system. Historical context from the past and live signals from the present. Together, they create the continuous data foundation, powering analytics, powering decisions, and powering real-time AI. That's why real-time isn't just about speed. It's about unification and intelligence. And that unification begins with how we store data and access data, bringing streaming and historical information together in one foundation. At the heart of this unification is the stream house, something we brought up to the world a few years ago. It all starts with ingestion. Flink CDC continuously captures changes as they happen across databases, across applications and systems, and streams them directly or continuously into the platform. Open table formats such as Apache Pymon and Iceberg gave us the ability to unify batch and streaming that combine historical and incremental data. And today, we're taking the next step forward with Apache Fluss, now available as part of the Ververica platform. We extend this foundation with streaming native storage designed for ultra-low latency and real-time AI workloads. Together, Flink CDC, open table formats, and Fluss form the backbone of the stream house. What does that mean? It means one system for historical and live data, continuous ingestion from every source, keeping data always fresh, analytics and AI that is always powered by the freshest information, and a storage foundation built on a streaming-first principle. And this is how we eliminate silos and unlock true real-time analytics. And once you have that foundation, live, unified, and trustworthy, something remarkable happens. Your AI can finally operate in the moment. AI has changed everything. But mostly, AI today is stuck looking into the past. It's powered by static snapshots of data that are outdated almost as soon as they get created. With the Ververica platform 3.0, that changes. By extending Vera with direct support for retrieval augmented generation, we make it possible for AI to access live streaming data. And this means analytics and dashboards reflect what's happening right now. AI assistants respond with knowledge of the latest events. And businesses can make decisions with confidence, powered by the freshest possible insights. So this is how we move from AI that reacts late to AI that acts in the moment, all on top of a unified streaming-first platform. But we're actually not stopping here at AI that just responds. The next frontier is AI that thinks and acts on its own continuously. And that next evolution of AI is agentic, intelligent systems that can observe, plan, act, and learn continuously without waiting for human prompts. And today, we are thrilled to announce the first release of the Flink Agents framework, built to power this new generation of autonomous real-time intelligence. Developed in collaboration with Alibaba, LinkedIn, and Confluent, the Flink agent makes Apache Flink the execution engine for agentic AI. That means Flink doesn't just move data. It drives reasoning, planning, and real-time decision-making. With Flink agents, AI becomes context-aware, event-driven, and continuously adaptive, capable of acting the moment things happen. And that means event-driven orchestration, where agents trigger and act based on data changes, not human inputs. With the familiar Java and Python APIs, making it easy to build agent logic without learning a new paradigm. Model and tool integration and the support for MCP allows agents to call external tools, models, within reasoning loops. Stateful memory and context retention allows agents to remember and build context over time. But there is more. There is support for workflow and React patterns, which gives developers the flexibility in how agents reason and act. Flexible action and events, which can be user-defined and built in, enabling branching logic and complex reasoning. And also you can trace and replay and inspect agent behavior, which allows you to have replayability and auditability. Flink is now the heartbeat of agentic AI. But to support this new class of intelligent, always-on workloads, we needed a step change in performance, a new engine built for the scale of tomorrow. And today, we are proud to announce Vera X, the first native vectorized Apache Flink engine. Vera X delivers groundbreaking improvements in performance and efficiency without requiring any changes to existing Flink applications. By re-engineering how Flink executes queries at the lowest level, Vera X delivers 5 to 10 times higher throughput, single-digit millisecond latency on streaming workloads, and up to 50% lower infrastructure cost. But VeraX isn't just about streaming. Batch queries also see 2 times faster performance than Flink's Java's runtime, and up to 3.1 times faster than Apache Spark 3.4, and all this with 0 code changes. VeraX brings Flink into the next decade, powering real-time analytics, AI workloads, and unified batch and stream processing at a scale the industry hasn't seen before. It's not just an upgrade, it's a redefinition of stream processing. Now let's see how all these elements, data, AI, performance, and simplicity, come together in one unified platform. So here is what makes Ververica 3.0 different. Until now, companies had to stitch fragmented tools, one for ingestion, another one for pipelines, another one for storage, another one for governance and AI, where each piece adds cost and complexity. Well, with Ververica Platform 3.0, that era is over. We're introducing the world's first unified streaming-first data platform, one where you can connect to any source, process data in motion with VeraX, store with open table formats such as Pymon and Iceberg and Fluss, and analyze with Flink SQL, now AI ready. And also govern with enterprise-grade security and compliance. So no more brittle pipelines, no more siloed tools. For the first time, you can design and operate your data flows in one streaming-first platform and power real-time AI directly on top of it. And when you combine all of this, live data, unified architecture, and intelligence that acts, also something extraordinary happens. Ververica 3.0 is more than a release. It's a turning point. For the first time, you have a unified streaming-first platform that can connect, process, store, analyze, and govern your data all in one place. With Ververica 3.0, data becomes live. Your AI becomes live. And your businesses become real-time by design. This is the new era of data and AI, and together we're building it. Thank you. Now I think it makes sense to show some of this in action. Let's bring Ben Gamble, Field CTO at Ververica, to the stage to show us a demo of Ververica's unified streaming data platform and Fluss in action together.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for listening to me for the first time today. Some of you had to sit through my training for the last 2 days, but it's great to be back on stage here again. So let's take a very practical look at running Fluss on the Ververica platform today. Key thing to note here is that Fluss is about solving practical problems with streaming, from when you need to materialize a clickstream, not going to another data source. When you want to view your baskets in an e-commerce shop, having the data there and then in a queryable format. So let's go into it first. First thing we need to do is build a cluster. Fluss, like any of the other things we have, is another Apache project where we must first deploy a cluster. On our dashboard here today, we're going to create one live. Now, this is running in real time because we want answers now. First, we're going to build our cluster, and then we're going to access it. We're running this video in actually one-to-one fashion because it became important because we realized that this thing happened as fast as we thought it did, so we don't want to slow it down for you so you can see what it really looks like. There's a full enterprise control plane here, so as you create this, you can then go through, see what's going on, observe everything in the platform, and then have full RBAC control over it. Most of these projects, when they first come out, are missing the enterprise features you need to be able to launch this in production. Not so with Fluss. We've gone through and added everything you need to take this into production today with no risk and full governance. This is then one-to-one integrated with Vera. So there's no kind of compromise here. Fluss can stand alone, but without a query engine to go with it, your data doesn't do much more than move. So let's connect this with Vera. The first thing we'll need to do is create a catalog. Because Fluss is a unification of tables and streams to the point where there's no distinction, you can now just create a catalog over the whole thing. There's no impedance mismatch with schemas anymore. You can do this through the lovely ClickOps window you can see today, but we all know that that's not what we want to do in production. The practicalities here are about being able to do it on a nice CI/CD pipeline or from code, or let's do it from SQL. When you're actually trying to build a columnar data pipeline for your true business outcomes, you don't want to have to sacrifice by having to go into a UI. Instead, you can deliver the value now. Have materialized views now. Make sure your users can see the data they need to make the decisions they want on your systems. Don't pay for a fast system without having data now. As you create tables and other views in Fluss, they appear immediately in front of you. And then we can go inside it and we can start to see inside the catalog now. As we refresh it, you get to see inside Fluss. Fluss is logically organized into databases, and inside each database is a table. The table is either a change stream or a materialized view, or both. As we look through this, you can start to see our clickstream example. Today we're going to take an example of something like a Netflix-type streaming show, and we're going to derive some real-time insights from those streams of data coming from the front end. As with all these kind of analytics workloads, there is a lot of data coming through, and you can start to see them as we go through the columns which are available. The problem with dealing with this in a kind of classical streaming format is that it's a byte-oriented feed. There's no data attached to it until we add it afterwards. The days of schema on read was fine in 2012, but it's 13 years later and it feels a bit out of date these days. So now let's use a bit of that and construct some real data products. Most of us have heard the promise of the data mesh, but we're here to deliver it live. So right now we're going to create a derived table on top of our existing raw pipeline so we can actually get the value that your data science team, your customer analytics team, or even some of your microservices might need so that the users can see updates as it happens without having to pay a crazy network cost when it comes to paying for every single thing along the way. If you have to deserialize data over and over again between your pipeline, if you have to pull columns you don't need, you're paying for things you don't want. So now let's have a look at what we can see. It's fun to build, but it's better to see. So, running on a session cluster right now, we're just going to do a quick select into one of our Fluss tables. And this is kind of one of our feeds we've just designed. Immediately, it'll start materializing out on screen, and we can start running it to see the data feed through. You don't want to start developing pipelines without knowing they're going to be good. It's not enough to simply debug with a test passed. Particularly with some of these things which are user-facing, you want to be able to look at the data, feel the data, and even graph the data with built-in visualizations to see what's going on. We all know clickstreams can be noisy, so we're going to have to clean that up a bit before we put it into production. So we're going to push it out to start with, but then we're going to have to do a bit more downstream. Pushing to production on the Ververica platform is seamless. We take the code we have, we declare any variables we want around parallelism, and then we deep validate it before it hits. The deep validation means that everything from networking to parallelism to available operators are unimpeachable on the point of deploy. You will never hit something into production with a dead pipeline anymore. This is one of those guarantees. Beyond that, we now need to join this data up. We want to enrich it from somewhere else. This is where the delta join comes in. A delta join is when we are effectively doing a partial lookup against a streaming source. Rather than having to materialize the full streaming source into Flink state, causing ballooning states with large joins, with Fluss and Paimon, you can do a delta join. Delta joins have been backported into earlier versions for onward support, but the key thing here is that we can do high-speed joins on streams of data without having to sacrifice the agility when it comes to rescaling things. The big gain here is that you can now act on more data than you previously could do without having to pay a cost up front. As it looks like a classic thing, but the latency is lower, you're not having to pay an extra cost in the state store, and you can have more different things going on. This can be on both sides of the join as well. There's no longer a need to have all of either side in the state. And this clocks up pretty quick. As we start to stream from megabytes to gigabytes to terabytes, the ability not to have your RocksDB or streaming database balloon out of control is important. Even with tiered storage and disaggregated state, it's still expensive to have that. And this has other benefits down the line. Like, it's great to have checkpoints that run really, really quick and light. If your checkpoint is merely some more offsets into another stream, it means you can go faster with fewer stop the worlds, and even faster rescaling and restoring, because we have an external data source which is optimized for streaming and optimized for these kinds of joins, which drive all these modern analytical techniques you need. And this is a continuous pipeline, and it is for both batch and real time. This works in both bounded and unbounded sources. And by minimizing those checkpoints, you can get the results you need with Vera and Fluss today. This is coming live to our unified streaming data platform and allowing you to do things at any scale, with stream or batch. This makes us the architects of now. Most of the time when you're doing things for your customers, they don't want to pay for real time. They want to pay for now. When you press a button, you want it now.
Well, now, Ben, thank you for that. Stay with me for just a moment. Where can folks find you if they have additional questions about this throughout the day?
So the wonderful thing is we have numerous talks by Fluss PMCs later today. I will be giving a talk just after lunch, and I will be roaming the halls, talking very quickly and answering many questions about everything from streaming, processing, to anything else you can imagine. You might have heard too much of me by the end of this 2 days, but hopefully not.
Never been. Also, if you're looking for more information, you can also find the Ververica sponsor booth in the expo hall as well. And visit all the other sponsors, please. So let's give a big round of applause for Ben. So next up, we're going to hear from a couple of people who are using Apache Flink right now. So first up to the stage, I'd like to welcome Erik Schumann, Product Owner, Data Quality Platform, Product Owner, Apache Flink, and Kafka at NordLB.
Hi.
Let's take a seat. Well, Erik, welcome to Flink Forward. Can you tell us briefly about what it is that NordLB does?
So NordLB is one of the largest commercial banks in northern Germany. And our core business really focuses on green projects. So we're financing wind parks, solar parks, green buildings. So we usually do wholesale banking. That's also the reason why not a lot of people know us. Because we do big things, but fewer from them, and we do not really have a retail business.
Okay, well, so you're a wholesale bank, if I'm getting this correctly. So you provide financial services to other large-scale clients, like governments or other corporations and financial institutions, instead of commercial banking that's serving the individuals. But Erik, I have to ask, do you even have big data? Why are we having this conversation?
So we have huge data, but not big data. Like every company, of course, we have operational systems, such as in CRM, as well as analytical ones, like a bank steering system or a reporting platform. And our focus from our team is usually on the analytical part. And that's the reason why we're talking, because right in the analytical part, we need to ensure that the data quality is fit for purpose. And data quality issues don't arise in analytical systems, but in the operational ones. Let me give you an example. Do you remember what you've had for lunch last Thursday?
No.
And that's completely fine. And probably none of us know. And we cannot expect people to do that, because when we measure data quality in the analytical world and find out 2 weeks later that we indeed have an issue, then we cannot expect people to know what they've did 2 weeks before. And when we spend 2 weeks finding a problem and 4 additional weeks trying to uncover why it happened even in the first place, that's definitely too late to limit impact of data quality issues. And even the European Central Bank has recognized that as a learning from the financial crisis 2008 and 9. So we even are regulated to do so, to measure data in real crime and showing that we limit the impact, but that we also aggregate data measurements to ensure that the KPIs our management is steering on is on a good data quality level.
That makes sense. And then what is the strategy that NordLB currently has for using Apache Flink?
So we have Kafka right in our architecture, and we transport data from analytical systems, operational systems between them, and that's the part where we click Flink in to measure data quality in real time on top of the data. And since Flink is a mature framework, it has a lot of connectors, so even if systems are not connected to Kafka yet, we still can measure the data quality. And as data quality gets quite complex, when you get your hand dirty a bit more, we really like Flink's capabilities to handle complex tasks, such as pattern recognition, AI integration, and so on.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what you're looking forward to when it comes to the new innovations that are happening in Apache Flink?
So what we're really looking forward is Flink agents. We really hope that we can spin up agents to measure data quality in our environment. We really want to scale it up and also use capabilities of agents, like having a common knowledge, to make data quality more accessible, because of course when people define data quality rules, there is the chance that they miss out some part of the rule. And during first tests, we were pretty confident that Flink agents will do the work.
Oh, interesting. So that's actually been a really big topic today. Obviously, Vlad was talking about Flink agents also. So Erik, from your perspective, what do Flink agents need to keep in mind in order to serve you well?
So AI is only as good as the data is based on, and I am particularly interested in how we'll solve the context question, because people really tend to forget metadata management. However, here it's so important to have that. For example, Netflix, they even come up with something they'll call UDA, or Unified Data Architecture, to actually fix this problem. And if we don't understand the business, like understanding what the data is meaning, how it's connected to each other, then we will definitely limit our output here. And I really like to think of AI as a qualified intern. If we do not provide any context, so our intern can make sense of it, we cannot expect it to work properly and be happy with the returns. And this, of course, with the context can start with just understanding the Afro schemas, putting additional documentation in it, but it really can turn up to be a whole semantic layer. And that's really the essence of our data quality approach. So really understanding what our attributes mean, where we can find them, how are they connected with each other, what is the impact, so also talking about data quality, and so on. And that really hypes me up. So having good results because the AI gets it, understands what's the impact, what do I need to do. And the really key essence here is to bring cool technology to boring problems.
That makes sense. And as we know also, financial institutions are part of a highly regulated and conservative industry. So how does this affect any Flink installs at NordLB currently?
Regulation is always a two-sided sword. So on the one hand, of course, it limits our flexibility in, for example, using SaaS applications because of something we call significant outsourcing. On the other hand, the regulations are there for a reason. And in this case, the regulations are actually boosting our approach because they demand us to actually solve data quality issues in real time. And I guess that's pretty dope.
So we're actually coming to the end of our short time here together. But if I recall correctly, you have a breakout session later on this afternoon where you'll dive into data quality in more depth, correct?
Yeah. So feel free to join me at 3 p.m. We're getting a bit more into the semantic layer and understanding what Nodderby is actually doing. So be invited.
Perfect. Well, Erik, thank you. I appreciate having you here to talk with all of us about your experiences with Flink. So everyone, please join me in giving a round of applause for Erik. I think it's time to check in with our co-hosts. So, Vera, that was very informative. What do you think about what Erik shared with us? Actually, do you even think...
All the time, Karen. It's really interesting to hear someone talk about a real use case and how Flink agents will be used in the near future.
Yes, especially in highly regulated industries like finance. Okay, so I think maybe now might be a good time to check in with someone who we actually spoke with last year at Flink Forward Berlin.
That sounds interesting.
So please join me in welcoming to the stage Siddhartha Choudhury, Senior Product Manager at Booking.com. So Sid, it's great to have you back here on the Flink Forward stage with all of us, and I think it's going to be really interesting to hear your updates from the time that we last spoke in Berlin. So for anyone who happens to be unfamiliar, can you tell us a little bit more about Booking.com?
Sure. Firstly, thanks for having me, and it's great to be here at Flink Forward again. So Booking.com is a global online travel provider which enables people to book their travel experiences from flights to stays to attraction, rental cars, all in one place. Our mission is to make it easier for everyone to experience the world.
Perfect. So last year, what you shared, we asked you about the #1 way that Apache Flink and Ververica are making a substantial difference to your business. And you probably recall that you shared that Booking.com uses Ververica and Flink specifically around security, so providing threat detection and fraud prevention in real time, correct?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? I'd love to hear how you're solving with streaming data.
Yeah. So within Booking, we are part of the security team, and as part of security team, our major focus is to make it easier, but also safer to experience the travel, so that the experience is trustworthy. Protecting our guests and our partners is the key focus, because also it protects our Booking brand image. So within security, we are part of an horizontal team where we empower multiple teams within security to manage and mitigate the risks, staying compliant, and also ensure that they are able to implement the security controls.
Makes sense. So what's been happening since last year? Can you give us an update on how you've been using real-time streaming data?
Yeah, so for security, we use Apache Flink. It's the key technology pillar, which helps us, helps our users to provide the real-time guarantees, the scalability and reliability part. Over the last year, we have onboarded more and more data streams, and for other teams within Booking.com, we see a continuous rise in adoption of streaming technologies like experimentation, fintech, pricing, marketing, marketplace. So a lot of teams are now gradually moving towards the streaming tech.
Makes sense. And have there been any big changes, expansions, new results, or any surprises?
Yeah, I think in the last 1 year, the focus that we see is how we can strategically align ourselves to be more efficient. That's one. Also, cost transparency is also the focus, where we ensure that we are, have a clear visibility on the ROI of every single business case. Yeah, and in 2025, we have to speak about AI, of course, and it's been that kind of a year where there is a lot of empowerment towards AI. We are trying to embed AI in almost every single use cases and also in our work ethic.
And I know that Booking.com meets with Ververica team quite often. What are some of the things that you see on the roadmap that you're really excited about?
Yeah, I think the last few weeks we talked about it, and it's good that we were involved from the start when all these features were being designed. It's really good, and a couple of things that we're looking forward to is One of them is definitely the BYOC, the Bring Your Own Cloud capability, is something that we're looking forward to. There are a couple more. There's related to auto scaling, there's lineage, anything related to resource efficiency. Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And you mentioned a little bit, but this year's conference theme, of course, is the future of AI is real time. So let's talk a little bit about what that means for Booking.com. How do you see real-time AI shaping the future of online travel experience?
Yeah, I think in Booking, we see a huge adoption of AI technologies, and every single department is using it differently. Some are saving a lot of engineering efforts, some are making themselves more efficient by saving costs. In the last few weeks that we have seen, there's a pretty cool feature where we worked with OpenAI, and we basically have the feature where you can launch Booking.com inside ChatGPT. So it's like you explain the whole trip that you want, and Booking.com and ChatGPT will take care of the rest. So yeah, the future indeed is looking towards that AI shape, and in security we see that the adoption will continue to rise. And protecting our customers at scale will be, again, the key focus for us.
Perfect. Well, Sid, I can't thank you enough for joining us not once, but twice on stage. So everyone, please, a round of applause for Sid. Well, Vera, any reactions to what Sid shared with us?
It's fun to hear about travel and how Booking.com is using Ververica and Flink to make these things easier on people.
Well, speaking of things that are fun and activities, I think you're really going to enjoy hearing from our next guest.
You've got my attention.
Well, next up, everyone, please join me in welcoming to the stage Bahar Pattarkine, Staff Software Engineer at PlayStation, Sony Interactive Entertainment. Well, that sound brings back memories for me. Hi, Bahar. Welcome to Flink Forward Main Stage.
Thank you.
So, I suspect most of our audience is likely familiar with Sony Interactive Entertainment and the PlayStation brands, but just in case, can you give us a quick company description?
Yeah, as Karen mentioned, I'm assuming everyone knows what PlayStation is. Sony Interactive Entertainment is the company behind PlayStation. It's a global entertainment leader that delivers award-winning games, consoles. I guess no further information needed.
And then you specifically work with the PlayStation family of products, correct?
Yeah, so I supported like one of the feature of the family app.
Okay, so I'm sure there's a ton of folks out here that have kids or teenagers. What is it that the family PlayStation app actually does?
So family app provides parents with accurate data and family management tool. And my team use Flink to power like daily playtime data for the children. I guess let me show you what the app does.
Oh yeah, we do have a video for that.
Gaming is fun, but managing it, that's a game all on its own. With the push of a button, the PlayStation Family app helps you keep everything in check. From playtime to spending limits, it's all managed in one place. Every kid is different. That's why the app helps you create profiles to track playtime, spending, and more, right from your phone. Playtime isn't one size fits all. Set the rules, then shape them around your day. Some play, some pause. Find the rhythm that works for you. Purchases, game requests, and more. Let them ask freely and keep the choice in your hands to say yes now or later. All the tools in one place. Choose what fits your family. The PlayStation Family app. Simplified family gaming.
PlayStation. So Bahar, tell me a little bit about what was the project that you were tasked with building for that?
Yeah, so as you've seen, there are like many features in the family app, and my team was tasked to show the playtime activity and specifically show what your kid up to last 7 days, what games, how many hours each day for last 7 days. And of course, the data needs to be real time and correct and exactly once processing.
Interesting. So what were some of the challenges that you encountered?
So some of the challenges was the PS4 is launched over 10 years ago. So the first thought, we will support the playtime activity only for PS5. But I'm a parent myself. I have 5-year-old twins, and I was wondering, what if I had PS4? So we did some research and found out like more than 40% of the kids are using PS4. So we have to support playtime activity for both PS4 and PS5. And the other challenges were, due to data governance, the playtime telemetry events does not have data. It doesn't tell me if it's for the events are for kids, and it doesn't tell the time zone. So lot of challenges, and that problem was interesting to me, and I was thinking that night.
Yeah. And it sounds like also governance and privacy and who can actually see access into the kiddos' accounts.
Yep.
Okay. What kind of metrics are we talking about? I imagine that the data volume for PlayStation might be kind of high.
Yeah, so at peak, PS4 and PS5 combined, we are talking about over 15,000 telemetry gameplay events across 100 million plus users, and I believe there are over 5,000 game titles on PlayStation platform.
And then what's your tolerance for downtime?
0.
Fair enough. So can you tell us a little bit more about why PlayStation specifically chose Apache Flink?
So for this specific use case, as I mentioned, there were like 2 data sources, PS4 and PS5, little different telemetry infrastructure. And some of the existing services, they are using Kafka consumer service. So we could have built with that, but Flink stood out with checkpointing, async support, matrix integration, and the big thing stood out is scaling.
And then how does Flink integrate with PlayStation's existing data infrastructure? And can you share the current architecture? I think you brought some slides for us to share.
Sure. So as you can see, the deployment pipeline, so once the Flink jobs are deployed, it starts event consumptions from the Kafka sources, and the processing all the events and aggregating data. There's checkpointing, and final aggregated data is written to the database. And
interesting. Let's maybe dive into the pipeline a little bit more.
Yep. So first of all, consume events from both PS4 and PS5. Here, Flink stood out. Like one job, consuming events from both platforms, and the union feature kind of helped. And then make sure any invalid events are filtered out. Moving on to idempotency, make sure the event is not reprocessed. And as I mentioned, the telemetry is lacking some data due to data governance. So in the enrichment state, get metadata, like if it's the event for child or not, or get the time zone by making some internal API calls. And one example is if your kid is playing from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., do I show 1 hour for today, 1 hour for tomorrow, or 2 hours for today, or 2 hours for tomorrow? So that was an interesting challenge. So we added a check for day boundary and ended up showing 1 hour for today, 1 hour for tomorrow. And eventually the data is aggregated and it's surfaced to the app using by API layer.
Nice. So the full architecture?
Yeah, so here is the full architecture. Both telemetry are coming via Kafka streams, and Apache Flink is consuming those events, making downstream calls for enrichment, and putting the aggregated data in AstraDB, which is Cassandra, and this data is surfaced to the app via API layer.
Brilliant. So we all saw the video, but in your opinion, Bahar, what's the final outcome of this project, and what was the rollout to production like?
Yeah, so we did a gradual rollout. So initially, no one was using this data. And specifically for my team, this was first time. There were other teams, they're already using Flink, so that kind of helped with initial deployment. But for my team, in my org, it was first time, so what we did is gradual rollout. Just consume 1% of the events, drop rest of the events on the floor, see how it behaves, and tweak the Flink job configuration, and eventually to 50%, and then 100% within like few weeks.
Great. Well, congratulations to you and the team and the managers that worked on this particular project at PlayStation. With the success of this project, what are some of the other use cases that PlayStation is considering?
So we got some feedback on the app. Even adults want to see their data, like what they're up to for last 7 days. So the same pipeline can easily support that. And other thing is, we have the data. So maybe we can create some meaningful stories for the parents to report what are their children's playtime habits, get some meaningful data, maybe leveraging some AI, and show the habits of the children to parents. And other teams are also exploring Flink for more interesting use cases.
Interesting. And as a parent, also being able to see potentially if my kiddos are playing aggressive games or what the rating might be?
Yep.
Okay. So you've built this incredibly successful solution, and you also attended Ververica's bootcamp training over the last 2 days. Are there any takeaways from the training that might help these or other future Flink projects?
A lot. The bootcamp was amazing, and now I go back what I've implemented, and now I truly learned what a stateful Flink job is. I can see a lot of potential to go back and optimize the Flink job we built and make it more performant.
Perfect. Bahar, I can't thank you enough for sharing how Sony and PlayStation utilize Flink today. You're here for the remainder of the conference, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and if folks want to reach out to you directly, perfect. Everyone, please join me in giving a big show of thanks to Bahar for sharing the story of Apache Flink at PlayStation with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Vera, what do you think of Flink Forward so far?
I'm really excited about the innovations that Vlad shared and the real-time AI use cases these innovations unlock. It's also interesting to hear the way businesses are using Flink and Ververica to solve problems today. Thanks to everyone who contributes to Apache Flink and the surrounding ecosystem projects like Paimon, Fluss, and Flink CDC that make this all possible.
Yeah, Vera, I agree. Everyone, thank you for your collaboration and for joining us all this morning. Now, before we head out to break and breakout sessions, we'd like to mention a couple of quick housekeeping items to help you all be able to make the most of your time at the conference. So first, if you haven't found it yet, our Wi-Fi is Flink Forward 2025, and the event app is available, I believe, on the QR code behind me. Also, Flink wouldn't be possible without our sponsors, so please do visit the sponsor booths that are down in the expo hall, and you are also all invited this evening at the end of the breakout sessions to the evening sponsor cocktail that's happening in the expo hall downstairs tonight.
In addition, we have a few special events happening throughout the conference. Following the popularity of last year, tomorrow morning, join the Apache Flink PMC members and committers at the informal coffee hour at breakfast, followed by a moderated interactive panel where you can learn more and ask any of the pressing Flink questions from the people who know Flink best.
Great. And also, make sure, everyone, that you are ready for Flink Fest tomorrow evening. This is going to be a private event at one of the best beach clubs in Barcelona. You're not going to want to miss the food, the fun, everything else that's going to be available there with the community. We're going to tell you a lot more about it at the short closing session tomorrow.
If you have any questions during the conference, please look for people wearing a yellow Ask Me pin for help, or visit the registration desk. And please share the event on social media with #FlinkForward.
Now, I know everyone always asks, we are recording the sessions and we'll make them available shortly on Ververica Academy. So, Vera, it's been really nice co-hosting the opening session with you today. Any final thoughts to share?
The future of AI is real-time, and that future starts now.
Well said. Way to own your now, Vera. So everyone, please take a look at the agenda, and after the break, choose where you'd like to be for your first breakout session. I believe they start at 11:45. Welcome, thank you, and enjoy.